We see the successes of a church down the road or somewhere else in Washington County. We don't say, well, hey, we wanted to plant a church there. You got there first. Who cares? It's about Jesus. And I think about becoming whole through shifting our focus to become more apostolic. Again, it's not a new way of doing church. It's how Jesus always intended on us being. I feel like our perspective needs to change in just a few ways. Number one is this, is we do not see other churches as our competition, okay? So a local church that is just pastorally focused, the pastor has a heart to do what? To have a loving, caring church that is really, really unified. That's a good thing. Without an apostolic focus, you can very easily get into, but wait a minute, what we do here is better than what you do there. So what happens if that church down the road is blessed, favored, grows 3 times as fast? If we're not careful, we get jealous of something that we should actually be celebrating. Are you with me? So if we realize just because people are sitting in a different building in the morning, they're still a part of our body, and we're a part of their body. So we can celebrate the successes of other churches who are preaching Jesus, crucified, resurrected, and exalted at the right hand of God. Secondly is we have to recognize that other Christians and that other churches can add value in ways that we aren't called to. Again, now we see the successes of a church down the road or somewhere else in Washington County. We don't say, well, hey, we wanted to plant a church there. You got there first. Who cares? It's about Jesus. Is Jesus being preached? Can they offer this community and this region something that we're not called to? Absolutely. Why? Because we're one body, being perfectly fit together. And third is we have to have some different expectations of what is fruit in this church. So I want to close with just kind of showing you a comparison of what a traditional church is that is more pastorally focused versus an apostolically focused church. Now, what you'll see on the traditional church is not bad. In fact, it's vital to the health of the church, but it's a foundation to grow into the type of church that I believe Jesus would have for every region across the face of this earth, as he did in Ephesus, in Philippi, and Galatia, and all those cities that Paul wrote to. So in a traditional church, we might ask ourselves how much we can do for Jesus, right? Do we have these ministries? Are we doing things for him? Are we active getting the body healthy? In an apostolic church, the first and primary focus is how much can we behold Jesus? The difference is this. One is good. Doing things for Jesus is good. However, an apostolically focused church would stop and say, I need to hear heaven's strategy first. First. There's been prophetic words over our church about planting churches for many years. And at times I get frustrated. I'm like, can we just get on with this thing already, right? But you know what? We haven't heard the Lord's strategy yet. We haven't heard a very clear, this is the leader, and this is the community, and this is the time, and this is the team. So we continue to step forth in faith until we hear the Lord's strategy. Secondly, we might ask ourselves, how many are coming into the church? How many of you know we need more people to come into the church if we will do more things for the Lord? It's important for you to invite people into this church to hear about Jesus, for you to even practice your own witnessing with them. However, an apostolic church isn't looking at just how many people are coming in. They're looking at how many people are being sent out. So yeah, we track if our church is growing or declining in Sunday attendance. And yet that's one foundational way that we can track is something working. In the years to come, we'll be able to track how many people are we sending out. Moving on, how many ministries are within the church versus how many are out in the community? How many are in groups in a traditional church versus how many in groups are launching new groups? So you know this. You need to be in a group to launch a new group. So we want you to be discipled for the purpose of making more disciples. It's what Jesus would have you to do. The next one, how was the prophetic used during service? We had the prophetic used in both 8:30 and 10:30 today. That's important. It strengthens the church. However, an apostolic church is going to say that's the foundation but we want every person to be able to prophesy as the Lord enables you out in your everyday life. Traditional church, how much money came in? Apostolic church, how much money went out? Wisely. Can you say the word wisely? It's not just like, let's just dump money everywhere, but it's like, how does the Lord want us to use the finances? So, money coming into the church, that's important. That's your obedience to the Lord through your tithe. Going out is this. It's more than just about us. It's more than just about these facilities. How many people got saved? That's very important that people get saved in our church. An apostolically focused church would say, how many people are leading others to Jesus? You see, there's a difference there. One is people coming in, hearing one person speak, giving their life to Jesus. Another is you feeling empowered to go out. Last is this. I don't like the way I worded this. It should say something along the lines of, what opportunities are we giving individuals to be transformed? And then how are we listening to the Lord to actually transform culture? We're not the ones doing the transformation. It's Jesus. But again, he puts the Legos out. We get to build right alongside of him. Why don't we stand at this time? I just want to pray over you as we close today. You might think, like, how in the world do you obey, or how do you apply a sermon like today? I would say the most practical way is to be with Jesus by yourself, and then be with Jesus in a group. Be discipled. Become whole individually so our church body can become whole, so that Washington County's church body, the body of Christ, can become whole.